The Bengals last year got hot down the stretch.
Yep.
They beat Kansas City in Cincinnati. They were down in that game, came back and beat them. AFC Championship game. They're down in Kansas City, came back and beat them. This year, they're down against Kansas City, came back and beat them. So that's 3-0 in less than a calendar year against Kansas City. And they don't just beat Kansas City. They've been beaten. They've beaten everybody the last 5 or 6 games. So when you ask me who the best team is in the AFC, I know their record doesn't say they're the best team. I think I'm going to have to go with Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is the best team in the AFC. Are you willing to commit to thorough Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals as the best team in the AFC?
I am not, but only because you have T. Higgins now has a hamstring problem. Tyler Boyd has a broken finger. You know, you're losing the skill. Remember, when they down the stretch, what they did well was they had health. They had the skill position players are all clicking. They were running the ball with Joe Mixon. Having Joe Mixon back this week, I think, makes a big difference. I know that they have beaten Kansas City, and so absolutely you're on firm ground. There's no question. I still look at Kansas City. I know they played horrible. The Denver game was not exactly a highlight through and through, but I still look at Kansas City as being Mahomes is an MVP level quarterback. He's playing at an MVP level. I still think that's ultimately the team to beat. But I will say this for you. Joe Burrow, to me, may actually be the most resilient quarterback in football. Every time I watch him and he makes mistakes or they kind of go through, I mean, even earlier this season when things weren't working well, he never seems like a guy who gets frustrated. He's just like, we're going to be fine. Like, even on the field, he'll throw a pick, nothing, comes back out. It's not a thing to him. And I do think that that's what plays into why they go on these runs and the resiliency they have is just because he is who he is. I can't put a finger on it, but he really is just an absolutely unflappable player. I don't know that I've ever seen him scream at a player once in his entire career.
Right, exactly. That's what stands out to me. Like Joe Burrow and his leadership. Last year, you can't get sacked that much. And then at one point, just, you know, at some point, there's got to be a flip out, right? What was that in the divisional playoff against Tennessee? Was it 9 times? He gets sacked 9 times in a playoff game, and they won the game. He had a drive to win the game. You're being mauled all the way through the regular season and postseason. They're mauling you. Divisional playoffs. Championship game was better, but the Super Bowl, once again, the key plays in the Super Bowl, the Rams made the plays when they needed to make them because the offensive line was suspect. But not in our faces, not little whispers behind the scenes, not sources say Burrow has gone to the coaching staff to say nothing. And you see him, he's always like that. You're showing him on the screen, watching on Peacock TV, you just see a chill Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is chill. If there's a hostage situation, I'm gonna say, all right, let's call Burrow. Let's call Burrow. There's a man on the building. Man's on the building.
Negotiator.
He said, you can't say anything to him. This is it. He listened to Michael Holley and My Bets, Your Money. He put the mortgage on it, and things didn't turn out well for him. Bring in Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
He is the embodiment of the guy smoking the cigar after the LSU win. He really is. Like, it just wasn't. I don't think we hype up moments, you know, collegiate moments or whatever, and you're kind of like, well, that's the epitome of what he is. It's, you know, frame it because it spells out everything you need to know. That was one of the rare ones where, like, after the national championship win, you're like, man, this dude really is just the coolest cat. Like, it's whatever he brings to the table, it's extra, and it's real. That's who he has been over the expanse of his career. Another thing I like about him too, he'll say some stuff. He got up a couple of weeks ago when they started to click, and he was like, oh, I kind of feel it. I feel us getting into that groove that we got into last year. You probably, you know, like, you probably don't want to put that expectation because the groove he got on last year ran you to the Super Bowl. He had no problem saying that. So, and I think the locker room responds to him because of that.
And I didn't believe it last year. By the way, I did mention, My Bet's Your Money. Your boy was 4-1 this week. 4-1.
Ooh.
So as you go into the holidays, thank me later for the extra cash you have to spend on friends and family or yourself if you're that kind of person. If you spend it on yourself, you kind of miss the spirit of the holidays, but that's all right. I'm not here. I'm not standing in judgment.
I need some of those picks.
Yeah, you should follow. You know, the one I missed was Bengals Browns, though, ironically.
Oh.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.